And in lieu of Valentine's Day, I wanted to share with you some of the most wholesome, just amazing things my husband has done for our family. Now, don't be fooled. Obviously, we have some rough times. We do argue, contrary to popular belief. We do go hard. We argue. But generally, we have a pretty great marriage. So we're gonna start off strong. A lot of you already know this, but my husband stuck by me through my detransition. A lot of you are probably like, "What the hell is a detransition?" Well, I'm female to male. I was born female. I transitioned to male. I was on hormones for years. I had top surgery, and then I had to go off testosterone because my liver started to fail. And so for a short period, I detransitioned, which means I presented feminine again. And my husband stayed with me. My husband met me as I am now. Actually, I had a full beard, but he stayed with me even when I transitioned into the opposite of what he physically fell in love with me as. Obviously, I know that is because he just loves me no matter what. Like, I could detransition tomorrow and he would still love me, support me, but it is not an easy feat, especially because that was one of my hardest times. He stuck with me through it all. All right, so the next one, sobriety, okay? Now, I definitely don't think that people can, get sober for other people. Definitely not long-term. I would spend weekends in Vermont with him and his family, which is about 4 hours away. There was no way in hell with my anxiety I was getting in a car and driving 4 hours from there to home. During that time, my son, he would be with his father. His dad was still alive at this time, so he would visit on weekends. But given the history with my son's father and I was very nervous still about my son, being there. My husband stopped drinking, became completely sober. He's remained sober. And his main motivation in the beginning to stay sober was to make sure he could always take me to my son if he needed me. So obviously I've talked about in the past about how real dangerous and my relationship with my son's father was when he was alive. And of course, when I met my husband, that transferred onto my husband, and he became a victim of a lot of it. We were put in some really dangerous situations. I would say most people would rightfully run away from, even though it wasn't my fault, it wasn't my son's fault. They're scary situations, but my husband saw everything through. Not only did he see everything through, but he worked his ass off so that he could provide a lawyer for us so that my son was safe. Not only that, well, my son ended up meeting with a therapist who he really clicked well with. My son was nonverbal at this point, so for him to be able to have successful therapy sessions with somebody was very, very rare. But he really clicked with this therapist, and I think a main reason was because she was deaf, and she was just fantastic with him. But she was out of our network, not covered, and also, like I said, very far away. My husband would not only drive us all that way so my son could see that therapist, but he also would pay out of pocket. And I could name a million other things, but I just wanted to share with you, and I hope you're all having a good Valentine's Day.